right, so what we're going to do today, guys, we are going to really nail out some things when it comes to letting go of the past. Now, if I be realistic about it, I understand why sometimes letting go of the past could be pretty challenging. But it doesn't have to control you. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to set up over here and talk to y'all too. So your past has nothing to do with where you're going. All right? And the moment that you can really grab a hold and understand that whatever happened before really has no control over your life, and you make a choice to release whatever it was that you allowed to hinder you at that time, maybe because at that time you hadn't grown enough to really understand, it's all good, okay? It's all good. There's no need for you to beat up on yourself about things you didn't do, but starting today, starting right now, you're going to have an opportunity to move past that, and, I'm going to do my best to show you how. And the thing is guys, you got to think about this. After all, right, if you can't let go of the past, how in the world do you expect to live a happy life? It's impossible, if you always, stuck on what used to be, what was, and how it didn't work out and all that other stuff. It's not going to help you accomplish anything going forward, and it's going to actually stop your growth, all right? And so that's what we're going to talk about this morning, letting go, all right? So one thing I recognize is that instead of focusing on the present moment, right, we all get caught up into this web of lies that are going on in our mind, telling us all the reasons why, this person was so wrong and they hurt me so bad and I will never forgive them and all this other stuff, right? Or either maybe you made a big mistake. Maybe you did something that just really didn't work out, and you really just was trying to figure out, how do you get back on track? And because you haven't really forgiven yourself about whatever it was or whatever that experience was, and not learn from that experience, it somehow finds a way to have a hold on you. But it doesn't have to have a hold on you, okay? Because you are not a victim of your past. You're a victor of the present moment. The victory is in the now, all right? But I say that to say, guys, that there are many people that are out there in the world who live every day, literally every day, they have a positive new view on life, all right? And so if other people can, deal with certain things in their life and certain situations come up, they understand that putting it behind them is where the freedom lives, all right? And a lot of times we really can't get past the past because we're so stuck in the past that it doesn't even allow you the growth or the room to even create a future for yourself, all right? And so that's what we want to get past today, because people who are like that, they're not focusing on the past. People who have, look beyond their circumstances. I'm sorry, I got upstairs trying to figure this out. All right. People who have, I think that's it. All right, so people who have, going through some things, they're no longer focusing on their past situations, all right? So I'm going to tell you, we're going to start with number 1, which is when it comes to the past, you have to go ahead and let the emotions flow. Because what happens is we experience something from the past, and then we hold the feelings hostage, and we never really release the disappointment or the upset or the anger or the frustration or whatever. We never really take the time to express it. So what happens is when you don't express that anger or you don't express that emotion that you're feeling, it gets stuck in the body somewhere. And once it gets stuck in the body, that is what creates illness in the body. This is when, cancer finds a way in, and just all these different things that are stress-related diseases that find a way, to come in and invade your body because you have not allowed emotions to flow when it comes to certain things in your life, all right? So one mistake that most people make, and I'm just as guilty of this, I have been just as guilty of this, is they try to actually ignore the emotions altogether because they don't want to deal with it, right? Like I said, I used to deal with that too, guys. So, you don't have to run from that. It's okay. It's the fact that, it was something that you didn't want to deal with. And the fact that you didn't want to deal with it, you just decided to suppress it. But when you suppress it, it never really dies. If you want to get rid of it, you have to allow it to come up, deal with it within yourself. Why am I feeling this way? Or whatever the case may be. Let the tears flow. Crying is actually a healthy thing, and I know that, some, especially men, you guys have been taught that a man is not supposed to cry. But, at the end of the day, guys, when you confront your feelings, it basically helps you to move forward in life when you confront those feelings. So rather than suppressing them and acting like they're not there, go ahead and deal with them, all right? Expressing your emotions, sometimes it makes you creative. But all you music and poets and all of that stuff who are out there watching me right now, you know that when you get into this emotional state and somebody hurt your feelings or pissed you off or whatever the case might be, the first thing you do is you go grab that pen and you want to tell your story, right? You get mad creative. So it's nothing wrong with crying, okay? It's nothing wrong with just going ahead and letting the emotion that you feel go ahead and, process itself. Let it go, all right? Let the tears come until your behind can't cry no more. Just cry. Go ahead and cry, right? Scream into a pillow, put it over your head, shake it, just do whatever you need to do, all right? So that you can get all of that energy about it out the way. Get it out the way so you could be done with it, all right? So in order to begin living a happy life, guys, you gotta let it go. Let it out, let it out. So that's the first thing, is just going ahead and letting your emotions flow. Number 2 is don't let negative thoughts cloud your mind. You guys know your mindset, madam, here is all about your mind. It's all about you keeping a positive mindset in the midst of whatever it is. Because even when somebody doesn't do something that you wanted them to do or that wasn't so right towards you, at the end of the day, you can't control other people. So with that being said, why waste your energy focusing all these negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions about somebody that you have no control over anyway, all right? So don't let negative thoughts cloud your mind, all right? You're going to allow yourself to go ahead and express these emotions, as I said before, but don't dwell on them. So I'm not saying for you to express all of this stuff that I'm saying to go ahead and let your frustration or whatever come out, cry it into a pillow or whatever, deal with whatever, however you want to deal with it within yourself. I'm not saying call somebody and tell them off and be like, oh, let me tell you, you should have. I'm not saying that, because see, this healing has to be for you. That person might not even be thinking about your behind no more, and you so still focused on that person, which is why you can't get ahead. But that person probably already met somebody else or hired somebody else or whatever, while you still feeling victimized, all right? So you got to get past that, all right? So at the end of the day, guys, you just have to remember that negative thinking is really it's an unproductive process. At the end of the day, it's not doing nothing for you. It's not helping you, right? It distracts you, right? Which means you start to lose your focus. Maybe you were having a real good day and you let these negative thoughts seep in about something that somebody did to you in the past. Just pay attention to when those thoughts come up. If they come up, and you notice, I get them all the time. Especially being now that I'm evolving, I get like these thoughts of certain things that certain people did, or maybe I might see like a message or a post or something, and I've already, believed in my heart that I've forgiven them, and then I'll see something and I'll be like, this person still didn't change. And at the end of the day, it's not really about me judging them and seeing that the person didn't change. That person has to change when they want to change, or when I guess when it's their time for them to change. But I don't determine when somebody else's change take place, and you don't determine when somebody else's change take place either, all right? So allowing negative thinking to marinate in your mind and live rent-free, guess who's paying for it? You. You're the person who starts to pay for all of that negative crap that you're holding on to, all right? So one thing you got to know is, I talk to you guys about this all the time, that negative thoughts do what? They plague your mind with self-sabotaging thoughts, thoughts of denying you. It's basically like you're denying your right to live a happy life. So how do you deny yourself a right to live a happy life? Okay? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to deny yourself the right, the power, the strength, the faith, the whatever floats your boat, whatever word that you want to use, okay? Why on earth would you want to deny yourself the right to live a happy life, to live a prosperous life, to live a life filled with joy, to live a life full of different experiences, traveling, making sure that all of your bills are paid, or whatever the case may be? You understand what I'm saying? And when you're so focused in the past, like even if you made a bad investment decision, maybe you opened up a business or something, maybe you invested this money and it didn't go right, and so now you're beating yourself up like, oh, I wasted $30,000. Like, oh my God, no. That experience might have cost you $30,000, but you didn't lose $30,000. That $30,000 that you invested in that business was because there was an underlying experience that was attached to it. You had to learn what you needed to learn from that experience, from opening that business and understanding what did not work. So when you open up the next company, you will know what will work, or you can try something different, or you can do whatever investigation that you need, whatever research you need to figure out how does this work, and start surrounding yourself around people who've already done it so that you can get a few little, tips and tools to help you make it work for you too. All right, so you gotta get out of that closed-minded mentality. It's keeping you trapped. All right, so when a negative thought crosses your mind, all you're gonna do is you're just gonna steer your mind away. Okay, when it comes up, see it like, oh, okay, I'm having a negative thought. It's all right. It's a negative thought. If the thought is not you, don't be attached to your thoughts, okay? All right? So that's so important. So you're going to steer your mind away from the thought, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the positivity that you gained out of the situation, okay? You're going to, what did I learn from this experience? What parts of this experience did I like? Did I enjoy myself when I was with him or her? I'm grateful for all the people that I met at the job, or, even though it cost me $30,000 for this business, I learned X, Y, Z, and my behind won't do that no more. You get what I'm saying? So you want to just start kind of looking at doing some positive thinking, okay? Just positive thinking perfectly. You know what I mean? So there was a quote, I can't remember who said it. I think it was Nelson something, I can't remember. But anyway, he says, once you replace a negative thought with positive ones, you'll start having positive experiences. You'll start having positive results, which is very, very true, okay? If you focused on everything going wrong, everything is going to continue to go wrong. That's just the way that it is. So, number 3, I think this was learn from your experience, which I kind of touched on already. So, learning from your experience, what you're going to do, as I just stated, is you're going to take away the positive from the experiences, okay? So when you learn from the experience, guys, you learn more about yourself, okay? You learn what does make you happy. So if that relationship or that job situation, it didn't work out, then guess what? It probably didn't even really make you that happy. And so in some way, you kind of attracted the disconnect, especially like if it's a job that you kind of hate. Every morning you walk in there like, oh my God, I don't even want to be here right now. And you start saying things like that. And when you start, speaking like that, you're not even realizing that. I get it. You don't want to be there, but you are there. So you need to make the best of whatever you can while you're there until something else shows up in order for you to move forward. All right. But the more that you keep speaking about the job or the company or whatever, or my business is not working, or customers don't come in the way that they used to, whatever stuff you got going on in your head, let it go. Disconnect from it. All right? Because it's jacking you. It's robbing you blind, as I say, of your success. All right? So, be cool with it. All right? So, again, remember, you pretty much, you learn what makes you happy in the midst of those experiences. All right? So, sometimes you might find that you don't want to be with the same people anymore. Like maybe you was hanging around a wrong crowd and you started to notice certain things about certain people and you realize like those are not the type of friends that I want in my life, right? So leave your toxic friends behind and move forward in your life, all right? You start to recognize which friends are actually dragging you down, or which stories that you're telling yourself about your past relationships or your past circumstances or whatever that are dragging you down, all right? Which leads me into number 4, I think, which is stop being a victim. Okay? Stop being a victim. I did a whole live on this yesterday. If you did not see it, go watch it. Go watch it. It's in depth and it's really, really good. I'm not going in depth in this. I'm just going to touch base on you stop being a victim. Okay? If you want to let go of the past, you have to let go of your victim mentality. Alright? When you get into the mindset of victim, guys, you're going to find that all of the traumas that you're experiencing are all thoughts that lead back to the past. It's like past traumas that you experience. So every time you in this mindset, you victim, you're focused on something that already happened, something that's already done, something that you can't change. Okay? And you giving it way too much attention. All right? So what happens is your mind, as I said earlier, it becomes plagued, by these thoughts. And then you find yourself thinking that everything goes wrong for me. And as I said last night, you hop into woe is me. And so I'm going to let that go right there. Stop being the victim. Go watch the live from yesterday and I think it was overcoming victimization, or are you a victim? Something to that nature. Go watch that video, okay? Number 5 is don't wait for an apology. So if somebody did something to you in your past and you're holding on and you're just waiting like, oh, well, this person needs to tell me sorry. I'm not forgiving that person. First of all, forgiveness is for you, is not for the other person. Forgiveness heals you, not the other person. At the end of the day, the other person still have to deal with their own stuff that they need to start asking forgiveness for within their own self. And they probably not even thinking about you no more eating anyway. And they not thinking about you no more. Guess who's suffering? You're implementing separation upon you. That person's not implementing separation upon you. All right? So, Oprah Winfrey, she says that, I think it was true forgiveness is when you could say thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the experience. All right? And that's all that it is. It's just an experience that you had with that person. You learned mad stuff when you was dealing with that person. Whether you learned what you did want or what you don't want, you learn from it. Okay? So the best lesson in life that you could really learn is to forgive about it and forget about it. Forgive about it and forget about it. Because, I mean, unless you really stuck with dealing with a situation to where you got to see the person every single day, and you might find it a little bit more harder, then you're going to have to kind of work on self-love, like putting yourself first in that particular case. Because you're going to have to realize that if every time that person comes around, you feel some kind of way, you send this frenzy through your body, and then you begin to attract a whole bunch of other situations that make you feel the same way that you feel when he or she shows up at your door. Whether it's your baby mama, baby daddy, or whatever, it doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying, all right? And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, all right? So at the end of the day, I mean, maybe the other person was wrong, okay? Sometimes people do wrong stuff. But really, when you think about it, the people who do wrong, this is the mindset that they're operating in. And so once you understand that, in a way, that person is doing the best that they can based on the level of consciousness that they're operating with. You really can't judge them. Because maybe you have grown in a different area in your life that person just didn't get to yet. So where you feel like the person should be a little more compassionate, at the end of the day, the person may not even understand compassion. Maybe they've been surrounded by people who will always get, having an attitude about everything or whatever. And if that's what they were surrounded by, chances are their personality is going to reflect the people who raised them. All right? Because as humans, what do? We duplicate behavior. Okay? And that's how it becomes learned behavior. Our negative thinking, learned behavior. How is negative thinking learned behavior? Because when we're a kid, when we were born, like, we didn't know anything about, like, negative, positive, and all this stuff. We didn't know all of this stuff. It wasn't until we began to watch television. It wasn't until we began to hear our parents tell us, no, don't do that, don't touch that, or whatever the case may be. So that's how we learn how to respond, or how to react, or how to behave in certain situations. You watch television, certain things on television, certain movies said that, maybe when somebody steals from you, you shoot them. And so this is learned behavior. And if this is what the kids are seeing, or the youth are seeing on television, they grow up with this belief because they're doing it in the cartoons too. But that's a whole nother story. I'm getting off topic here. This is about letting go of the past. Yeah, I have to come back for another live and talk about all of that, okay? But at the end of the day, guys, the only one who you're going to hurt is yourself, all right? If you're holding on to the past, nobody else is going to be more hurt than you, all right? So just focus on moving forward. All right, because what happened, it is in the past, and there's really nothing that you can do about it. All right, stop waiting for an eternal apology, because it's probably not coming. All right, get over it. It was what it was. Leave it alone, let it go, and move on. Right, and stop wasting huge amounts of time focused on what happened in the past. That time no longer exists. The only time that is real is right now. What's happening in this present moment. The future is not here yet. The past is not here yet, but the present is right here, right now. It's your gift, and what are you doing with it? Okay, so don't let somebody else's mistake keep you from a happy life, okay? If somebody hurt you, don't let their mistake of letting you go make you feel like you're afraid to love. Because you're supposed to be loved, okay? You're supposed to, have somebody in your life that makes you happy and sparks your flame, and, that feels like a twin flame, and you guys finish each other's sentences, and you have, I know it might sometimes be like, oh, that's a fairy tale. But to be honest with you guys, I'm around people who are in relationships that, even though they might bump heads so sometimes, their love is so much stronger that it's like, it doesn't even matter. It's like, at that moment, they might have had an issue, and 20 seconds later, they're hugging each other, or kissing each other, or saying, baby, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you, or whatever the case might be, okay? So you can have that too. Do not hold yourself hostage about bad business decisions, bad relationship decisions, bad decisions that you made at your job by coming in late every single day, which caused your butt to be fired. I'm just saying, let it go and learn from it. The next job you get, make sure you're there 15 minutes early. All right? Alright, so never be a victim of your circumstances, guys. I hope that this live has helped you out. Once again, it is the Transformation Tag Team. We are here each and every Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And, somewhere in that nature, between 10 and 11 a.m. We usually shut it down, depending on how many people that we have going live with us. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate you. I love you with all my heart. And I think that you are amazing. And I hope that you think you are amazing too. Minds up, guys. Make sure you check out the website at www.takiyahdiamond.com. Get on over there. Check out some of the products that I have available, okay? If you don't have any of my books yet, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for 2019 to come, 2020? I don't know. But whatever it is stop waiting. Take action now. A lot of times we don't get to see the things that we set out to accomplish because we don't take action now. All right? So let's get out of that space of saying, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, yeah, I'll get it later. And be like, you know what? Let me do this now so that I can go ahead and get it over with. And then you can contemplate it later. I do that a lot with certain purchases that I make sometimes. Certain things that I know that I need to get. And then my ego and mind might be like, oh, well, you don't really need that. You could wait for that. And I'd be like, no, I can't. Boom. Send. Purchase. You get what I mean? Because that voice will talk you out of what you need. And then you'll be done use the money on something else. And then you'll be regretting the fact that you didn't get what you needed when you needed. You'll be mad. Right? Trust me, I I get it, okay? I've been there, all right? So, take action now. I have 7 things you need to change your life. Get your life together. Wisdom, words of consciousness, and coming to you soon is From Poverty to Profit, all right? Make sure you guys join the transformation team. Click on the link, hit like, love us, thank us, appreciate us, because we sure thank and appreciate you, all right? So have a blessed day. Have an amazing day. And be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.